Okay, let's get our entire research team now to help us with the list of top 10 stocks for the day. And there are plenty on our radar today. Vivek is here first up to tell us about Tata Power and why we should be watching that one. Vivek, morning.
Well, good morning. This was a tricky quarter as far as Tata Power. They had to navigate the fact that, coal prices had seen a significant decline. But, despite that, what's actually happened is that the other segments of the business have come to the fore and have aided the operational performance. Looking at the numbers themselves, revenues largely in line with what consensus was estimating, higher by 5%. Coming in over the 15,200 crore mark. EBITDA higher significantly, multiple one-off factors, we'll get to that. Higher by 75% on a year-on-year basis. Margins quite strong, 19.4%. And profitability up almost 22.4% this time around. What are the one-off factors? Much higher results optically, but number one, exceptional gain of 235 crore. This is from dilution of stake as far as Tata Projects is concerned. Along with that, a favourable CERC order for Maithan Power led to additional accruals of over 100 crores and also lower under-recovery as far as Mundra plant. That also aided. Now, talking about the main part, the Indonesian coal mining profits, that's come down quite significantly, 351 crore this time around versus 803 crore last time around, as well as a revival in Odisha discoms actually aided the operational performance.
Okay, all right. Thanks a lot for that, Vivek. Well, let's hop across to Sonal. Sonal, how about PI Industries numbers? Good?
Stellar set, Nigel, and it was a top-down beat that we saw, and it has come in at a time when other agrochemical companies are talking about headwinds. Revenue growth of 24%, EBITDA was up 35%, margins expanded 180 basis points versus an expectation of 30 basis points increase, leading to a profit growth of 46%. This growth came in from the export markets or the CSM business, where they saw growth of 33%, led by 29% volume growth and price growth of 4%. However, the domestic business continues to see some impact, so there the revenues declined by 13%. The new pharma business that contributed 3% to overall revenues did report an EBIT loss, but that's because of some overhead expenses. Inventory days have come down as well to 73 versus 89, and they continue to target 18 to 20% revenue growth with improvement in margins from these levels. So a good number. Expect the stock to be in the green today.
Okay, so we'll watch out for PI Industries. Sonal, thank you for that. Lots of news on Max Finance yesterday. Max Financial, not just numbers, but Axis Bank is increasing stake. Abhishek, tell us more. Surabhi, tell us more.
Thanks, Surabhi. So, Max Financials, it was a good set of numbers. The total APE was up 10% on a year-on-year basis. The value of new business, that grew by 16%, and that was largely driven by higher share of non-par savings business. The VNB margins were higher by 100 basis points, came at 22.2%. The embedded value grew by 14%. The bigger news over here is that Axis Bank has approved of increasing stake in Max Life by 6.23% for 1,612 crores. Now, Axis Bank's stake goes up to 19% and they have valued, according to this, the valuation for Max Life is a little under 26,000 crores. So, big positive, and the overhang is now gone from Max Life, considering after the Axis buy.
Thanks a lot, Surabhi, for that. Let's go across to Mangalam now. He's tracking IRCTC today. Mangalam, how did it look?
Well, IRCTC numbers were slightly soft, and the reason why I say that is because their key business, which is the internet ticketing business, saw a decline in both the revenue as well as the EBIT on that front. But there was a good recovery that we saw in their catering and the rail near business. There has been a stellar number of trains which have catering now, and they've increased their capacity in the water business as well. On the bottom line, there was a decline on account of a 52 crore exceptional loss as well. So overall, revenues grew 17% year-on-year. EBITDA growth was just about 7%, and the net profit declined by 5%. See some red on that stock today.
Okay, all right. Thanks a lot for that. Mangalam, well, back to you, Surabhi. Tell us about Zee Entertainment. The numbers are going to be in focus, but the big Q, I think, is going to come in the second half of trade.
That's right. So the big Q is going to be the NCLT decision regarding the Zee-Sony merger, which is expected in the second half of the day. Apart from that, the numbers are also, better than what the street was expecting. The revenues were up 8%. The ad revenues were a little muted, but the management indicated that the ad revenues will get better in the second half. The subscription revenues, that was up 18%. The EBITDA was down 52%. Margins came in at 7.8%. versus 14.5% same time last year, but sequentially EBITDA margins have improved. The reported PAT, that was down 97%, came in at 4 crores versus 130 crores, but that included the merger related expenses of close to 71 crores. So overall, it was a good set of numbers by Zee.
Okay, but as you're saying, I think that court case would probably overshadow anything else that's impacting the stock right now. Thank you, Surabhi, for that. Mangalam, Bata, in step or falling behind?
It's falling behind and actually tripling as we speak. And lastly, because, the revenues grew just about 2% and this at a time when all other footwear companies are showing, good traction. For them, gross margins declined as well year on year. And you saw the EBITDA decline by 2%, and as a result of which net profit was down 2% as well. Management commentary said demand was still subdued. The overall average selling price increased by 3%, but the revenues increased just by 2%. So that's telling you that there was a volume decline in this quarter as well, and that should weigh down on the stock today.
Okay, thanks a lot for that. Mangalam, let's hop across to Ekta now. She's tracking Granules and JB Chemicals. How did the numbers look, Ekta?
Well, opposite directions. JB Chemicals, I expect the stock to be in the green. Revenue up 14%. Margins have improved to multi-quarter highs of 26%. Profit up 35%. India was up 17%. International business did well, was up around 11%. Granules expect the stock to be in the red because the company numbers were hit by an IT-related incident which took place in May. So revenue was down 3%. The street was anticipating 993 crores in terms of revenue. EBITDA margins 14% versus 20.74%, multi-quarter lows, and profit down 62% year on year for Granules. However, the company said they're reaching back to normalcy.
Okay, all right. Thanks a lot for that, Ekta. Vivek, coming back to you. Suzlon as well as BSE in focus. Tell us more.
Well, both companies in focus, different reasons. Suzlon, what the company is doing is they're raising close to 2,000 crores. This is going to be via the QIP route. The base size of the QIP issue is 1,500 crores with an option to oversubscribe by another 500 crores. Now, remember, the indicative issue price, as per our sources, is 17.55 rupees a share, which if you calculate, the dilution works at the base size of 1,500 crores to 6.85 of the existing share capital. And if the oversubscription option is exercised, goes higher to 9.15%. We also understand that, the QIP proceeds will be used to pay debt and also for general corporate purposes. Now, coming to BSE, the company declared its results yesterday. Slightly soft quarter. Optically, the PAT was a lot higher on a year-on-year basis. This is on the back of the fact that there was an exceptional item of 407 crore that the company gained from selling its stake in CDSL. Looking at the revenues themselves, revenues sequentially dipped 5%. When you're talking about the other income, it was down almost 7% on a sequential basis. EBITDA down 10%, and that is something that the markets won't like. What analysts are saying is that at this point of time, the launch of the new derivative contract with the Friday expiry is key to track in terms of the kind of traction that it is seeing.
Absolutely. Let's see what happens with that product and their fight with the other exchange. Thank you for that, Vivek. Here's a quick recap of all the stocks to watch today, the ones that have positive news flow around them. Tata Power, PI Industries, Max Financial, Z Entertainment and JB Chemicals. Small list. Stocks that have a negative news flow around them are IRCTC, Bata, Granules, Suzlon Energy as well as BSE.
Well, time to slip into a short break, but on the other side, Deepan Mehta of Elixir Equities will be joining us to help us out with some stock analysis. We'll also be joined by the management of Granules to discuss the past quarter's numbers. Later on, Anuj Singhal will be joining in to tell us how he sees trade setup for the day.